One summer moment can change a child's life. Through Toys for Tots Give and Go initiative, your support provides books, games, toys, and outdoor adventures that spark curiosity, creativity, and a love of nature. Whether it's fishing, learning a new sport, reading under a tree, or playing with friends, these moments build confidence and lifelong memories. For too many children, those moments never come. You can help change that this summer. Visit toysfortots.org. Toys for Tots, delivering hope beyond the holidays.
Katz and Cosby, entertaining and informative on the Red Apple Podcast Network.
We have with us KT McFarland, one smart lady, and Rita, bring her in.
I would love to. Deputy National Security Advisor under President Trump, the former one, and one of the great foreign policy experts out there, KT. So let's get to, there's been so much going on with Israel and Iran. I mean, unbelievable. Over the weekend, lots of firing back and forth, and Netanyahu said he will respond if he needs to.
Something even crazier just happened. KT, you know the Archdiocese of the Greek Archdiocese in New York, and you know the Patriarch in Constantinople.
Yes.
President Trump has, I think, made a mistake. He has assigned the Jerusalem Patriarch to make peace between Moscow and Ukraine.
Why?
I will text it to you because the Archdiocese and the real Patriarch in Constantinople is calling me.
Yeah, saying, wait a minute. Right. And now KT, explain. Exactly, but also explain.
Why am I in the middle of that? But I work for the Archdiocese in my spare time for $1 a year.
So John and KT, both of you guys should explain why there's difference, because the layman hears it and says, oh, that's great. But explain why there's a lot of internal politics here, right, KT?
Yeah, I mean, part of it, I guess, is President Trump has called for this. I guess he's called for it because he wants to look like we're doing something, and he's quite preoccupied not only with Iran, but then he'll turn next to Cuba. But for the life of me, I can't figure out why he's doing this. It just puts one more sense of confusion on it. You know, the patriarch, the Russian patriarch, is supposed to be a religious person. Yeah, I guess he's sort of religious, but he's more or less Putin's guy.
Right.
Yeah, he follows what is it? Otherwise, he falls out of the second floor or third floor.
Yeah.
Whatever it takes. Whatever it takes to finish him off, that's all.
You're right to sainthood. So to have him somehow in the middle of the negotiations is really isn't a real negotiation because he's Putin's guy. I mean, He's made it very clear that the Ukraine war is a just war, that Russia should be doing this, and he's Putin's puppet. So why is he in any negotiation? And why? It's just, to me, it doesn't make a lot of sense. It's sort of a non-starter unless President Trump wants to look like we're doing something, but in fact we haven't gotten around to doing something with Ukraine.
But KT, it's Richard Weinberg. John's point is the Jerusalem Patriarch is not the real deal. He's just it's not. So you have the following.
I'm not sure that the president knows.
That's what I agree with John.
That's the internal politics of the Greek Orthodox Church.
Yes, he may have the best of intentions, but not realize.
I agree with that.
Yeah, he just may not realize the internal politics and who this guy really is.
Yeah, he thinks he had a problem before dealing with the Greek Orthodox Church. Is really something.
None of it makes any sense. My guess is that President Trump was not fully informed of who these guys are, and it's like saying, okay, well, the Pope, we're not really sure he's on our side, so we'll give it to these other guys because we know we love the Greeks, and maybe he didn't realize where he is. But anyway, it's going to go nowhere.
Let's go back to the real world. Tell us about what's going on, Ukraine, Russia, Iran. I mean, it's such a mess right now.
Oh my God! And KT, I was up late watching like both sides firing salvos. You know, I mean, it was a lot of action last night. First, Iran going after Israel responding.
Yeah, so I think what's happened is that we now realize, and President Trump has said it, Secretary Rubio has said it, there's a real split, at least two, maybe more than two sides in Iran governing Iran. And so there are the pragmatists, so-called pragmatists, who are just as radical as the others. They're just, in Iran, it's crazy and crazier. So the crazy guys, the pragmatists, they want to do a deal because they realize they have to do a deal. And then there's the really crazy guys, the IRGC. They don't want to do a deal with anybody, no matter what the deal is. So it looks to me like what the IRGC did, and remember, they have something called the Quds Force, which is part of the IRGC, and Hezbollah reports to the Quds Force. So Hezbollah is an IRGC agent. And I think what the IRGC guys wanted to do was, let's sabotage this deal. Looks like they might be getting close to a deal. We want to sabotage this deal. And if we can sabotage this deal, then we know Israel will retaliate, and then we can call off the whole thing.
I agree with you 110%. I think that between the chimpanzees and gorillas, as we call them, that Trump has his hands full.
John's seen one move in the last 10 years, and that's it.
Yeah, KT, you've heard that one before, right?
I know that, John. I don't know how you get away with stuff like that. Anybody else would be taken to
the cleaners,
to the woodshed.
they know I have all good intentions.
Yeah, but it's an interesting analogy. Now, KT, what's fascinating to me in the last couple of days is this whole thing with the Supreme Leader, the son of the Supreme Leader, because President Trump came out kind of over the weekend alluding that he thinks the guy may be alive now. Maybe
also said,
mobile,
he went beyond that. He says, I think he's smarter than his father.
Yeah.
More rational.
Right, more rational. What do you think?
Well, and also President Trump, in a very odd thing, he said, "Well, if we make a deal, I'm happy to meet with him." So it sounds to me like, again, the crazy and the crazier, that the mullahs, who had always been this third group, so that the pragmatists who were the political leaders, the Speaker of the Parliament, and then there are the military guys, the IRGC, and then there's the religious leaders who are supposed to be above everything. And the religious leaders had always been sided with the IRGC. They were the crazy ones, the zealots. But now it seems like the Ayatollah, the new Ayatollah Jr., is in fact part of the negotiating process. So I think that's why President Trump said nice things about him. The Ayatollah has sort of come out, and his spokesman has come out and said, well, there's some issues that have a lot of ambiguity in the negotiation. So in other words, if somebody's saying there's ambiguity in a negotiation, that means they're negotiating. 2 weeks ago, nobody was negotiating.
Yeah, I understand that, and it's that our IRGC or whatever is the one shooting off the missiles and making the phone calls to the Houthis and making the phone calls to the Hezbollah and creating that whole problem.
They want to sabotage a deal, any deal, even if it's a good deal for them. They don't want a deal. They want nuclear weapons, and they want to, kill every Jew. They want to kill everybody who's not their variety of Islam. And they really honestly think that they have been selected by Allah to do this.
Yes, and Russia, Putin, and Xi from China, well, they don't give a damn. They just said, whatever happens, happens.
Well, remember, China's supposedly the great buddy of Iran. China just likes Iran for cheap oil. And if it can't get cheap oil from Iran, it'll start looking for cheap oil someplace else. So China is all in it for China, doesn't really care about Iran. And Russia is similarly. Russia was a friend of Iran's, mostly because Iran was an adversary of the United States. It's sort of like my friend is the enemy of my enemy. But right now, Russia is in the weakest position of all. Probably the only people in a weaker position than Putin are the European leaders who are squawking, saying that the United States has to do this, the United States has to do that, when in fact they don't have any ability to defend themselves without the United States in helping Ukraine, without the United States in NATO. The Europeans, well, I guess they can just, I don't want to say what they could do, but maybe drink their champagne or something, but they can't defend themselves.
KT, we love you. Thank you for coming on, and keep us informed. Anything comes up, we're one text away.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you,
KT.
Listen to this podcast now on the Red Apple Podcast Network.
Why is the middle class shrinking? Why are people facing an affordability crisis while marginalized individuals called informals grow in numbers? Join me as I travel the world, speaking with people living in invisibility, the leaders working to solve it, and uncovering the hard truths shaping our economy and daily reality.
Download all of Red Apple Media's podcasts right now through your favorite podcast platform.